It accomplishes nothing but pain and suffering for the country and the American people. That's a lesson we all must bear in mind. The shutdown is not a political game. Shutdown means real pain for American families.
Yeah, so why is Chuck Schumer using the government shutdown now as some type of revenge play? Americans are struggling.
And I will tell you why Chuck Schumer did it, because he got a lot of heat for passing the CR bill the first time. I mean, AOC, Jasmine Crockett, and others on the radical left was just, slandering this man's name, calling him weak, pathetic, how he should step down immediately because the radical left wanted to close the government the first time. And Schumer didn't bend the knee. Now he bent the knee to a bunch of women at that. So that just makes it 10 times worse. I'm just like, no offense, women, but come on, man. Who respects a guy that bends the knee to women? Like Schumer, and you're the leader. And you're letting 2 women bully you into closing the government because what? You don't want to get primaried? Like, I just don't get it. I just draw like an error.
Roughly 750,000 federal employees, that's a lot of employees, are not working. Even our military members' paychecks are threatened. But Schumer, willing to let Americans suffer, believing it's all worth it as long as he sticks it to the Republicans and makes AOC happy. So a lot of bravado. Schumer told Punchbowl News that every day gets better for us. And he reiterated the same sentiment on the Senate floor this morning.
Our case to fix health care and end the shutdown gets better and better, stronger and stronger, because families are opening their letters, showing how high their premiums will climb.
But it gets better for the Democrats. Here to discuss, Matt Towery, pollster and political analyst. Also with us, Lisa Booth, Fox News contributor. All right, Matt, this is, interesting. There are different polls that show different iterations of where people are on this shutdown. But his comment there that it's good for the Democrats. What do you make of that?
Oh, I don't think it's good, but I have a great idea, Laura. I sat all afternoon and went through some statistics I want to share with you. 93% of Trump's win came from rural counties. 70% of the nation are rural counties. We've lost 300 rural hospitals. There are 38 Democrats in the House that represent primarily rural areas. North Carolina, 85% rural. Georgia, 120 of 159 counties are rural. You get where I'm going with this? There's a crisis in health care, but the biggest crisis is among the rural areas, the places that voted for Donald Trump. So I say to Schumer, how about this? How about we address that rural crisis right now? And then after everybody gets the government going again, we'll turn and deal with his area in New York and Los Angeles and all the other places he cares about. I think there's a way to get this thing done and take the health care issue and hang it right around their neck.
Well, Lisa, Obamacare really dropped a bomb on the health care for so many Americans. So they're dangling the prospect, this is going to go on forever. But of course, eventually you have to pay the piper. Plus, we got 30 million illegals using the emergency room as their primary health care. Hospitals under huge pressure because of bills underfunded, under-reimbursed. And the Democrats are blaming us. I thought Affordable Care Act was affordable.
Well, I think that's probably why we're fighting for these beefed up premiums as hard as they are, because otherwise it's an admission that Obamacare failed. It failed us. It failed the country.
I mean, let's be honest, though, because what they are fighting for is the enhanced subsidies for Obamacare. So, it's not like the subsidies would disappear at 31st, but the enhanced subsidies for Obamacare will go away. And they was enacted because of COVID in 2021. So, I'm not going to sit here and tell y'all that health care and premiums won't rise because they would. But like I said, Republicans already made an offer to extend it for 1 year, and they will now want it permanent. So, hey, we'll see where this goes.
But I think more broadly, if you look at Republicans right now, look, you win political fights, you win government shutdowns when you have the easier argument to make. And Republicans can say, we've given you multiple opportunities to keep the government open at the same spending levels that you previously supported just a few months ago. Why can't you do it again? You did it 13 times.
And like I told you, because the radical left was against Schumer when he did it in, I think it was February or March. I mean, now they're telling him you better not do it again or we're going to primary you. And Schumer does feel like he's going to lose his seat. He's already lost influence in his own party. So I guess this is his way of holding on to power, or I guess going along with the crowd. So, like I said, we'll see how this works out for the Dems. But yes, you guys are the ones to blame for the shutdown since you guys are the demanding party. You guys blamed Trump back in 2018 for shutting down the government over his wall, right? Right. All right, cool. Now that the Dems are demanding something, keep that same argument with them.
During the previous administration. But, right now, I think this fight is still a beltway battle. But it's going to continue to spill out, particularly when you look at impacts to air travel. And if you remember going back to the 2019 shutdown, that 35-day shutdown, there were ground stops on January 25th, 2019 at LaGuardia that then had this cascading effect on the rest of the country. You had something like 3,000 flights delayed, 650 flights canceled. And then what happened that same day? President Trump and Congress got together and hammered out a 3-week, short-term deal to get the government reopened. So, I think until we start seeing a little bit more of that, there might not be room for negotiation, unfortunately.
Yeah, but paychecks aren't coming now, Matt, right? People aren't going to get paid. When people don't get paid, they can't make their bills, and then they can't get health care that they need because they can't afford the premiums.
Well, you remember, Laura, when our friend Newt Gingrich shut the government down back in the 1994 and 95, he was called the Grinch who stole Christmas, right? It was all his fault.
And it's funny, like they actually did make a good joke though, because it's like, so what are you saying, that Obamacare low-key failed? I mean, so you guys are fighting for these enhancements. I mean, what was wrong with the original Obamacare? So yeah, they are kind of admitting that Obamacare did need some screws put to it. I mean, hey, Lord knows it wasn't perfect, but it could be modified and be made better. I mean, Trump took off that individual mandate and that helped out a lot. Let's see if other things can be tweaked as well. But right now, trust me, I would also say they do need to extend the Obamacare subsidies. But like I said, in around to the 31st. So really, it doesn't make sense for them to bring it up now.
Now it's the vote that is needed by the Democrats that we're not getting. So I think political pressure, increased political pressure, and perhaps a little advertising in some key districts, and maybe a little creative approach to this health care they're so concerned about, and we'll get this country back on its feet and moving again.
Have you seen many commercials on this?
I know. Isn't it crazy how Dems will complain about healthcare prices knowing that we're under Obamacare? Like, isn't that hilarious how they complain about that?
Matt, I've seen almost none in the D.C. area.
No, and
That's
there
shocking,
need to be
is it
commercials.
not?
Yeah. I think the Republicans ought to be running commercials right now saying, why is your representative, why is your senator not voting to open the government and get people back to work? I'm always shocked when that doesn't happen.
Chuck Schumer just wrote the ad for them, too, by saying every day it gets better for them that the government's shut down. So to Matt's point, like if you're gonna write the ad, he just wrote it for you, Yeah, and also, Laura, think about how small Democrats look right now. President Trump is working on negotiating peace in the Middle East, while they pick, these silly battles where you have Hakeem Jeffries in this fight with Mike Lawler, just looking silly in that interaction. They just look so small and petty right now, comparatively speaking.
So are you
Trump's
dumb?
taking on the big challenges, but
See, James, people like you are low-key dumb. Well, or extremely misinformed. No, I'm going to be nice. I'm going to say you're extremely misinformed, James, even though you're not so nice to me. But it is what it is. Now, he says everything is going up in a few months. I did say that, the Obamacare health subsidies don't end until December 31st. If they get those extended, then no healthcare cost goes up. Like, yes, the healthcare premium scare is avoided. But this is the problem, though. Why are you bringing it up now when you could have just did a temporary funding CR bill, and then you guys could have discussed that in like 7 weeks, and then you guys could have pushed through the healthcare subsidies. Y'all could have debated if you wanted to extend it to a year, to make it permanent, all that good stuff. But it did not have to be now, and they didn't have to shut the government over it. So honestly, it's really a straw man. I said my bad, but a red herring. It really has nothing to do with what the Dems really want. What the Dems really want is $1.5 trillion in health and Medicaid spending, which, to be quite honest, goes against Trump's big, beautiful bill. And I know y'all love that, and that's fine, but they're the ones holding up the government over $1.5 trillion in Medicaid spending. So you can't really put this on Trump. And healthcare plans won't go up if they sign to the 1-year extension agreement that was offered to them. So maybe you should talk to your, Democratic Congresswoman guy or whatever, and, tell them the word of like, hey, they want a 1-year extension. What's the holdup? Because shoot, maybe you got a better connection to them than me.
This government's got to open up. It's got to happen. Matt and Lisa, thank you both.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to.
I'm sorry. Every now and then, you got to pick out somebody who's a little bit, on the low IQ side in the chat, because sometimes they just don't. Well, I'm gonna be real with you. The TDS done blinded them, and they just say stupid stuff out of it. I mean, if y'all would lose the TDS, you would see a little bit more clearly, and honestly, you would have some reasonable criticisms about Trump. Like, there are liberals who have some reasonable criticism, but you guys, I mean, y'all just hate everything that man does, or you find a way to hate everything that man does, and that's just like irrational. Like, let's be honest.
The government remains shut down, and chances of a solution do not seem to be rising, but temperatures certainly are. Republican Congressman Mike Lawler confronted Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries after a news conference.
You're not going to talk to me. You're not going to talk to me and talk over me because you don't want to hear what I have.
Hey, I love how they cut out the first part. You want to know why they cut out that first part, guys? Let me show you why they cut out that first part. Because they started it at a very convenient spot, and they didn't start it at the spot where they should have. So shout out to the Young Turks for actually catching the entire video, because this is what they didn't want to show you.
We got a 1-year extension. Why don't we sign on right now?
We got a 1-year extension. Why don't you sign on right now? Let's go back to what he said.
We got a 1-year extension. Why don't we sign on right now?
Let me ask you a question. Did you get permission from your boss?
Why don't we sign on right now?
Did you get permission from your boss? It's like, what does that have to do with anything? You guys said you wanted to extend the Obamacare subsidies. Here's a 1-year extension. But it's funny how, where CNN stops it all for you.
For a news conference.
You're not going to talk to me. You're not going to talk to me and talk over me because you don't want to hear what I have to say.
Oh, I'm listening.
So why don't you just keep your mouth shut?
Oh,
because you showed up.
Is that the way to talk?
You showed up.
Yeah.
And so you voted for this one big ugly bill.
I'm here on my behalf of my constituents because you
right?
shut the government down. And my constituents are suffering as a result of your ridiculous ploy because you're so afraid of Zohran Mandami. By the way, when are you endorsing him?
By the way,
you endorse him for mayor?
First of all, are
you going to endorse him for mayor?
Listen, you're a complete and total embarrassment right now.
Oh.
With us now.
But you see what I showed you, how CNN tried to cut out the main part where the man literally walked up and said, yo, what the F is this? We're trying to give you a 1-year extension on what you guys been preaching about all through the media. All through the media, you guys been preaching about this 1-year extension. Why aren't you signing it?
Is the House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. Leader Jeffries, thank you so much for being with us. We'll get to you and your friend Mike Lawler in just a second. But first, I do want your reaction to the word that all the Israeli hostages could be home within days. Your reaction to that and what you think President Trump's role was in brokering this deal.
Well, good morning. Great to be with you. It's a very, very positive step in the right direction. We're all hopeful that this agreement will be finalized, that the hostages will be released in a matter of days and returned home to their loved ones. Of course, that we can surge humanitarian assistance into Gaza to alleviate the pain and suffering that Palestinian civilians have been experiencing in a theater of war for the last 2 years, and that we can achieve not just a ceasefire, but a pathway toward a just and lasting peace for both Israel and the Palestinian people.
So, Leader Jeffries, let me ask you about the status of the shutdown and that confrontation with New York Congressman Mike Lawler. Among the many things that were exchanged back and forth there, he was asking you about the possibility of a 1-year extension on the expiring Obamacare subsidies.
Oh, so they do mention it. You know what? Shout out him. I ain't gonna lie. Shout out to this guy right here, because I didn't even think he was gonna mention it because he cut the full clip off. But you know what? I gotta give props to bro. I ain't gonna lie. You're a real one for bringing that up, because we've conceded to a 1-year extension of Obamacare subsidies. Now, what's your argument? What's your argument now? Now it's undeniable that the Dems are shutting down the government because they told you it was about Obamacare subsidy. We're like, okay, cool, we'll extend them. All right, what now? Why didn't they sign it? Why isn't the government open today? If it ain't open by tomorrow, that should be evidence enough that that whole healthcare premiums going up was BS. And I'm not talking about, if they canceled healthcare premiums will go up. No, that's real. What I'm saying is the argument of that, they're saying that Republicans didn't want to extend them or wanted to let your healthcare premiums go up, and that's a lie. Because right there, the Republicans just offered a 1-year extension and they're still holding out.
Specifically, what is your opposition to that?
Well, MAGA Mike Lawler is an irrelevant individual. He doesn't even have the support of the House Republican leadership, who have refused to address the issue of extending the Affordable Care Act tax credits. The Democratic position has been clear. We will sit down with anyone, anytime, any place, one, to reopen the government, negotiate a bipartisan agreement that has to actually make.
You really think that that guy came to you with just a plan by himself? You think he was just that sole person that agreed to a 1-year extension? No, he got that from a bunch of other Republicans and said, all right, look, I'm gonna go shoot it to them. Let's see what they say. When y'all shot it down, they were like, bro, are you serious? Like, bro, we're giving you the extension you guys asked for. Now you're trying to move the goalposts. It's like, and it's like I said, they have the most, literally, bro, the Dems literally have the most ignorant following or the most blind following. The fact that this could happen in y'all face and y'all will still sit there and say that, oh, well, Trump's shutting down the government. Like, they literally just admitted in y'all face that, yeah, we're holding the government hostage, even when the Republicans give us what we want.
Make life better for the American people, not hurt everyday Americans. And a meaningful part of that is to address the Republican health care crisis, which includes, but is not limited to, the largest cut to Medicaid in American history, the failure of Republicans to address the Affordable Care Act tax credits that are expiring, hospitals, nursing homes, and community-based health clinics closing.
And shout out Hellbays, like that guy took a payout for saying the truth. I mean, Shay, it is what it is. It is what it is. But like I said, it's so irritating that, like I said, they'll sit here in front of their people. Des will sit there and just be like, yo, we're fighting for healthcare premiums that won't go up. The Republicans come to you and be like, all right, cool. We'll go ahead and solve that 1-year extension. And then they're going like, no, now we want it permanent. We want permanent Obamacare subsidy enhancements. I'm like, so that's not what y'all argued. That's not what y'all told the American people. Y'all said y'all wanted an extension. Now y'all talking about y'all want permanent? Like, come on now. Like, yeah, y'all not being rational.
All across America, including in rural parts of the country, because of the one big ugly bill. These are real issues affecting everyday Americans, working class Americans. And our view is that we need a meaningful response to addressing the Republican health care crisis, not simply a Band-Aid solution that Republican leadership in the House and the Senate don't even support right now.
Take Lawler out of it, Congressman Lawler out of it for a
Jason,
second.
that is a thing, bro. You know what? Actually, you need to change Republicans to Democrats, because the more of a bigger budget that we have in healthcare, who you think we're paying? We're paying these pharmaceutical corporations, healthcare corporations, equipment, and all that good stuff. And there you're able to overprice us because we have such a bloated budget. Now, try to defeat this argument right here. Now, in 2019, we had $615 billion in Medicaid, and we were covering 71.5 million people. Tell me why in today that we only have 70 million people on Medicaid. Why do we need, I'm gonna be real with you, 1.5 trillion in Medicaid spending? Make that make sense and tell me how that's not being used to stuff corporate pockets. Like, please, which one makes more sense? Like, who sounds like the bigger villain? The guys who's trying to add $1.5 trillion so these healthcare and pharmaceutical companies can further tax us or higher price us, or the guys who are trying to cut down the spending so we can somewhat balance the budget and we can get these corporations to stop taking advantage of us, because now we don't have such a bloated budget. And we still do, in a way. We got $855 billion in Medicaid funding, and we're serving less people. Like, how does that work?
I don't think you guys will be having a beer anytime soon. But are you suggesting that when it comes to Obamacare subsidies, you are for permanence or broke? If they're not made permanent, you won't change your position on the shutdown?
See?
No, what I'm suggesting is that we need to have a meaningful bipartisan discussion, that our position as articulated in the legislation that we've introduced is a permanent extension of the Affordable Care Act tax credits. But we're open to having a conversation in good faith to try to address this Republican health care crisis. It's ironic, however, that Republicans just a few months ago passed their one big ugly bill, which included permanent tax breaks for their billionaire donors, the wealthiest and the most well-off people.
And there were tax breaks for the American people as well. But y'all don't want to talk about that. Of course, there's no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security. I mean, no tax on overtime. And people making between 30 to 80K has a 15% reduction in taxes taken from them. So why don't you talk about that? And let's be real. I mean, these billionaires, what do they do with their tax breaks? They get bonuses. They create factories, offices, all types of stuff that they reinvest into their company to go ahead and give American people jobs. So, I mean, the more rich people keep their money, the more advances we see, or I'm sorry, but the more bonuses we see, the more jobs that are created, and the better and more money is flowing through the economy, because instead of just being given to the government. So, like I said, a lot of y'all are like, oh, honestly, y'all really is misinformed with how these billionaires use their money. And then you guys like to say they hold it at the top, and I'm like, obviously you don't know the plan of reinvestment. I mean, these companies' their growth proves that they reinvest in the company. The fact that there's multiple jobs popping up for tech, data center, and all that wild stuff proves that they reinvest. And trust me, I mean, banking companies do it. I mean, shoot, staple companies, all that good stuff. They all reinvest into their companies. And trust me, the reason why you got a job and the reason why you probably get paid more is because a millionaire or a billionaire got a tax cut. You know that? The reason why a factory is being built in your area is because the millionaire or billionaire got a tax cut. So be thankful for that. Shoot, be thankful for your tax cuts as well.
In the United States of America. And so the question becomes, isn't it reasonable for working class Americans?
I mean, man, shoot. We give them tax cuts to give you guys jobs. I mean, shoot. Honestly, yeah. We give the billionaires tax cuts to give jobs and opportunity. I mean, y'all get tax jobs. Honestly, the people get tax cuts to increase their personal income. So, hey, it works out for us. And shout out to my man Jay, said, can't negotiate without the sombrero Hakeem. Shake my head. Oh, man. Y'all maybe want to play that one video, but I feel like I might have played it out.
For middle-class Americans, for everyday Americans who are facing the possibility of dramatically increased premiums, copays, and deductibles, we're talking about thousands of dollars per year in additional health care costs. Isn't it reasonable for them to have a similar level of certainty in their lives? And that's what Democrats are fighting hard to achieve.
One of the things that has not happened in Congress is the swearing in of Representative-elect Adelita Grijalva from Arizona. What do you think the holdup is there?
Well, it's been weeks since Representative-elect Adelita Grijalva has been decisively elected. And so it's very strange to us that House Republicans continue to delay her swearing in. It could have happened last week. It could have happened this week. It's not been scheduled for next week. And it does appear to many of us that part of the issue is that she will clearly become the 218th signature on the discharge petition that will trigger an up or down vote on the release of the Epstein files. Because we know that House Republicans and Senate Republicans and the Trump administration have been hiding the Epstein files from the American people for months now, even over the wishes of the brave survivors who want full transparency so there can be full accountability. And that's what we support.
I do want to go back to 1 second on the idea of the extension of Obamacare subsidies. You've said the idea of a one-year extension is a non-starter. Punchbowl wrote up this morning in their morning note that they'd been talking to Leader Schumer over in the Senate, and he hadn't drawn similar red lines to you, saying that a one-year extension is a non-starter. And the quote from Punchbowl is, when we pointed out to Schumer that he hasn't drawn similar red lines, Schumer responded, I don't negotiate in public. To what extent are you and Senator Schumer on the same page on this?
Wild.
The interesting thing is that for weeks we've seen House and Senate Democrats on the same page, and we continue to be on the same page as it relates to defending the health care of the
a lot of people don't understand that. You know, a lot of MAGA is for pre-COVID spending on, healthcare services. Because like I said, we do understand that there was honestly an exorbitant amount of spending put into Medicaid and Medicare. and be like I said, and a lot of people want to get back to pre-COVID spending. So a lot of people will say, oh, they want to make it permanent for the middle class. The plan is to make it permanent for the middle class. Dog, MAGA is all about cutting, not complete cutting off of Medicare and Medicaid, but cutting their budget. Because we do understand that it's bloated because, I'll be honest with you, a lot of fraudulent stuff goes on and we get overpriced on a lot of things. So, yeah, we need to go ahead and cut that budget because it's unnecessary. It's really unnecessary spending. But a lot of people don't want to admit that. But all right, shout out to my man Hellbat. He says, do it. Plus, meant pay cut. Earlier, oh, my bad. Okay, so that was your earlier one. He said, fuck autocorrect. Oh, that's what you meant. That's what you meant. Okay. He said, he said, this guy took a pay cut for saying the truth. You know, he probably did lose like 10K. He's like, man, look, you weren't supposed to tell them about how that man proposed the 1-year extension. You wasn't supposed to tell the Dems that. Now only the radical of them is going to go along with the BS. The ones who's always going to move the goalposts for us, not the sensible Dems.
American people, and demanding a bipartisan negotiation between House Republicans, House Democrats, Senate Republicans, Senate Democrats, and the administration so we can enact a spending agreement that actually makes life better for the American people, addresses the cost of living crisis that Donald Trump is inflicting on everyday Americans, healthcare premiums about to skyrocket, housing costs totally out of control, electricity bills have been skyrocketing, grocery prices remain high. We just need to sit down and have a bipartisan negotiation in order to make life better for the American people and address the Republican healthcare crisis that is devastating people. Working class America, rural America.
There is no Republican healthcare crisis. All 70 million Medicaid individuals are covered under the current budget. You guys are the one that want to add 1.5 trillion. I mean, well, we actually want to, and honestly, we want to put back spending. So really, you want to add about 93, maybe more than that, because not only do you guys want to reverse the $900 billion cut that Trump did to Medicaid, but you also want to add like what, another 1.5 billion on top. One by about about 100 billion on top of that. Like, do y'all hear yourselves? Like, come on now, Dems. Do you really think that was like a good faith negotiating to try to go back on Trump's big, beautiful bill and call it a healthcare crisis? And then here's the thing. Like I said, we were taking care of more people with less money. And here's the thing, though. Like, we still kind of need to get back to that. Like, I would love to get back to $600 billion in Medicaid spending because we were covering more people with that amount of money. And we got less people on it now, but all of a sudden we need a $1.5 trillion budget? That makes no sense. No sense at all.
Urban America, small town America, the heartland of America, and black and brown communities throughout America. This is an all hands on deck moment. And House and Senate Democrats have been completely aligned, and Senate Democrats continue to hold the line in a strong and principled way on behalf of the American people.
House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries from New York, we appreciate your time this morning. Thank you.
But all right, though, let's get to this funny Hakeem clip because, man, this is hilarious. All right, funny clip of the night. Let's get right to it.
You're gonna have to learn to respect me. I'm sorry. You can stuff your sorries in a piñata, bitch. Where's the tough guy at, huh? Yeah, where's the tough guy at? The big bad wolf from the House floor? Talking all that smack on national TV? You ain't talking now, are you, bitch? I'm sorry. If Trump got something to say it to my face. Ain't that what you said? Yes, I'm sorry. Let me tag in, boss. Well, here I am. You little sombrero wearing piñata faced fuck. Yeah, you piñata faced fuck. Face to face with a little bitch motherfucker. Yeah, you little bitch motherfucker. Not so tough now, are you? I'm sorry. Trump was what? Trump was right about everything. I can't hear you. Trump was right about everything. Everything. Look at you. Crying like a little baby. Stand up straight when he's talking to you. Mr. President, I'm sorry. Oh, now I'm Mr. President? Where's the tough guy at? Yeah, where's the tough guy at? Obama told me to say that. You hear that, JD? I heard it, boss. Dollar Store Obama is getting orders from Pig Mike's husband. Lace curtain motherfucker. Are you gonna open up the government? Yes, I'll do anything. No more shutdowns, no more filibusters, no more nothing. You wanna stop acting like a wannabe tough guy on TV? Yes, I promise. Next time, I'm gonna dunk your fucking head in a bowl of salsa. A bowl of fucking salsa! Now, who's the little bitch? I am. I can't hear you! I am! I don't wanna talk about this again.
I mean, I mean, come on, that is pretty damn funny. Oh man, it gets me every time. It gets me every time. I swear to God. But all right, though, let's get right back to it. Hey, it isn't funny how I made my argument, and all they was to say was nope, no comeback, with no facts, no nothing, no data. Just said no, you're wrong, you don't understand.